Just wait for the video to kick in at your end or my end or whatever.
There
you go. Oh, look at that backdrop. That's amazing. Just like last week's.
Yeah, I can change it if you want.
I've changed mine. I have to actually change my backdrop now.
Right, hold on, let me change mine then. Hold on. We're going to do that.
Otherwise, people just get bored. People have no attention spans nowadays, Fraser. You know this.
I mean, I'm amazed that people watched our hour and a half video, to be honest.
They did. I would love to say lots and lots of people watched it, but a handful watched it. YouTube's weird. Your numbers go up, then they go down, then they go up, then they go down. They're just a dodgy bunch of feckers, really, aren't they?
It's just people. Do you know what I mean? Like we all have short attention spans.
Well, you'll notice with YouTube though, sometimes I had a video that went up to like 80 odd views, like a lengthy one, and then I woke up the morning after it had gone down to like 40, and you're like, no. YouTube went, oh, that happens. Don't worry about it. What do you mean? Don't worry about it? They're well dodgy.
You're like, I'm worried about it.
But yes, exactly. So I don't get too stressed by YouTube now. It's like, you know what? I put the things on. I put the content on there, and it's.
You will have more views than some programs on BBC Scotland, and that's just the truth.
Really? Well, people don't watch that anymore. It's like. It's the same with the box office, isn't it? It's like people talk about box. Oh, look how much this film made compared to that one 20 years ago. It's like, yeah, but there wasn't 815 streaming platforms 20 years ago.
Oh, Doctor Who only got 5.8 million viewers when David Tennant did it in 2006 it got 10 million. It's like, yeah, when telly was different.
Yes, telly was different. People's viewing habits were different. People's attitudes were different.
No, everyone can sit down and watch something live.
No. Do you know what I don't like now? And this is something that I noticed the BBC started doing it, but also ITV do it as well now, where they will. So I'm not picking on one or the other, but they'll go, hey, Sunday night episode 1 of 5 of this new show is going to be on, and you'll go, fantastic. Look, you playing around with some buttons there, little hearts.
It was hovering over like it was a menu. I clicked on it hoping it would go away, and it just
just sent hearts. So, well, yeah, that's great. That's good. Episode 1, I'll be like, brilliant. And we're old enough that we go, well, we'll watch episode 1 on a Sunday, and if we like it, we'll see you next week Sunday, and we'll watch episode 2 because we'll enjoy it. We'll make it a thing where for the next however many weeks we'll watch the show. But they dump the whole show on iPlayer.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I really don't. There was a show, Boiling Point, which was on BBC a few weeks back, which was a TV series based on the movie, which was like a year or two ago. So I'm very excited. It was a TV show, that. And I sat down and I watched the first episode and I was tweeting along and brilliant. And then somebody went, oh, you'll love it when you get to episode 3 and 4. And I'm like, what do you mean? Oh, they're all on iPlayer. They've been on there since this afternoon. I'm like, well, you've just ruined the water cooler thing. So I then had to watch it really quick before some scumbag spoiled it all for me. So I'm like, oh.
They did that with Ghosts, like the last series of Ghosts. They dumped that all on iPlayer. Netflix dumped all of Lockwood and Co. on Netflix. And it's like, stop dumping shows because you're not giving it the chance to build up. Yeah. That's why I'm glad Doctor Who at the moment is 1 a week. Because it gives you because if they put it all out bang, 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 what's the point of a cliffhanger?
None. Because then there's also this stupid habit that a lot of, it's probably just podcasters and website people, but to be fair, it's probably everybody, because everybody online's a bloody journalist nowadays, aren't they, and an expert on everything. But they feel the need, I need to binge watch this thing as quick as possible to get to the end so that everybody can hear my opinion, which is so valid. Everybody needs to hear my thoughts and hear how things are dead and buried and shite like that. It's like, no, can we just go back to the times when you put the telly on and we just watch something and go, yeah, I like that. That was fun. What else am I going to watch? But we're not going to spend the whole episode bitching again, because I'm sort of conscious that I seem to be turning into that person now.
But I don't read reviews. I just don't. I'll make my own stuff.
Even afterwards, do you not read them?
No, because I fight, because my worry is, and what used to happen was, I would go see a film or watch a TV show and go, I like that. That was good.
Yeah.
This is what everyone else thinks. And it'll be, oh, boo, it's horrible, it's terrible, blah, blah, blah. And I go, well, you just ruined it for me now. So I try not to do that.
I never let them ruin it. I always like to go into things after I've watched it, read the reviews and go, what did you watch? Because I didn't get any of that feeling.
But are we talking about Mr. Sam Raimi?
We're probably going to touch upon Sam Raimi. So we'll probably... bounce along him.
Because there's been some news about Mr. Raimi recently, if you've heard.
Has there been some news? Oh, is this go on? What's the news? And then I'll either go ooh or I'll groan because it'll be the internet just getting all excited about something.
Well, people get upset, but rumor has it. He says, holding his sonic screwdriver, that he is rumored to be the director for the next big Avengers film.
Okay, what do you think about that? I mean, you're a Sam Raimi fan anyway, but
I think he's a safe pair of hands because when Scott Derrickson, I think, did the first Doctor Strange, he quit.
He did
Doctor Strange 2, and then Sam Raimi took over, and you can tell it's a Sam Raimi film. Like, it's got all the little Sam Raimi nods, so that the trolley zooms, and it's got just his style of music and horror comedy. There's a bit of Three Stooges in there. You know, it works. Like it's a Sam Raimi film, but still Marvel.
Do we get the Oldsmobile? Is that in there? Have you managed to spot that? Because that's in pretty much every Sam Raimi film, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, I think I know what it was. I think there's a scene quite early on when there's like this tentacle bug-eyed monster thing like ripping through the town, and I'm pretty sure the Oldsmobile gets dumped. I might be wrong. Hold on.
You're gonna check at some point, aren't you?
Of course, I'm going to do it right now.
This is going to be the most jaggedly random podcast ever for anybody who's listening or watching. So, get used to it.
Right now, Fraser is searching.
He's Googling stuff.
Yes, I know I've got an ad blocker. Deal with it. So, Doctor Strange to Oldsmobile.
It's got to be in there, isn't it?
Because he puts it in everything, doesn't he? So.
Yeah, he does. Well, I was watching the remake of Evil Dead the other week, and it was in that, and that was only produced by Sam Raimi, so he didn't even direct that one.
Is that the new Evil Dead?
That's the new one from 2013. Yeah.
Oh, so the reboot.
Yeah.
Which is somehow still in the continuity of the original.
Yeah, kind of.
If you've got Bruce Campbell showing up at the end of your film, and the end credits going groovy, then
sadly no. I don't think you do. Or do you?
He does.
Does he? All right, okay. I must have stopped it before.
It's an end credit scene right at the very beginning.
Nice. Got to be in there.
Blah. As they wander through the unnerving and ruined world, Stephen Strange and Christine Palmer observe the devastating effects of the multiverse. And so there's a swirling maelstrom of stuff, and hovering above it all is the yellow 1973 Oldsmobile Delta 88.
Nice. How much would you love to own that car? That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? That's like one of the props.
I wouldn't drive it though.
No, God, no, you couldn't. No, I don't even know if it still drives nowadays, does it? Or who knows? I don't know. It's probably just a shell.
A friend of mine who lives across the street over there is desperate for the Doctor Who car, Bessie. And he was like, I would love Bessie. I was like, but you can't drive.
No. You're not telling me, though, even if you couldn't drive, you wouldn't love the Batmobile. Obviously, the Michael Keaton one we're referring to, because that is the best Batmobile, I think.
I quite like the Adam West one.
Yeah, that usually pops up at Comic-Cons and stuff, doesn't it? I've seen that in the past.
I've got absolutely no ill will towards it. And I quite like the Batman Begins one.
Yeah, the Tumbler.
It's a tank, right?
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you for love nor money what the Ben Affleck one looks like.
No, I can't remember.
I have no recall. And then the Batman with Robert Pattinson, I feel it's quite Oldsmobile.
Yeah.
It's quite like muscle car.
Yeah. I do like the Batman though.
I've not seen it. I should watch it. They filmed it in Glasgow.
It's very slow. It's nearly 3 hours, and it kind of feels 3 hours. Because I remember the friend of mine, Abel, loaned me the 4K Blu-ray. So when somebody loans you something, you kind of think, I suppose I've got to watch it now. And I ended up putting it on, and like 20 minutes in, I'm thinking, I'm good. This is just like Batman. I've seen lots of Batman films. By an hour in, I'm like, should I stop? I don't know. I'm kind of bored with this film. By 2 hours, I'm like, this is the best film I've seen all year. It's amazing. And I've seen it twice now. It's very good, but it's not filled with like loads of set pieces. It's a proper 3 hour, takes its time.
Do you feel like there was a bit of hype around it, then it came, then it went?
Well, no, because it made a fortune, didn't it?
Yeah.
Which kind of annoys me when you hear these, and you hear some podcasters like John Campea for one, who's always bleating and moaning, "Oh, DC are failing. Oh, none of their films have made any decent money for years and years." And then somebody goes, "Joker and the Batman. Oh no, they're not DC EU. They're just DC." And it's like, loophole much. Loophole is it? It really annoys me because it's still a DC film, whether it's included in the shared universe or not.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. Still produced by the same company.
Isn't it? Oh, it doesn't count. Yeah, it does. No, it doesn't, because that doesn't fit my argument. Get out of it. Sod off.
But the thing with the DC, the DCU, and everything else is that that's fine that you can do that and that works. Marvel would not get away with. Well, they don't get away with because you've got the Spider-Verse over at Sony.
Yep.
And they're not doing as well.
No, I mean, you could sort of say that Venom did very well.
Venom did great. Venom 2 maybe not so much.
Yep, but it still did quite well. The Tom Holland Spider-Man ones have done very well.
Yeah, but to fit their narrative, they'll put it under the MCU banner.
Exactly, to fit the narrative. Yep, it's that again, isn't it?
So
it's just the online discourse of, I'm an accountant, I can analyze box office numbers. It's like,
exactly,
I can't help it. It's just it's maddening, isn't it?
Well, we're not going to name names because that's not fair. But you have found yourself in a storm of nonsense.
Yeah.
For someone who thinks that you're the sounding board, that you have a direct link to the showrunner of Doctor Who.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah.
And that by saying to you, "I'm unhappy," that you'll somehow get a message to Mr. Davies, and you'll fix it.
Yeah.
So it goes back to quickly go back to our last podcast. It's just fan entitlement, and it's the same with people who say, "Oh, DC haven't had a massive hit in years," and you're like, "The Batman." Oh no, but that's not.
Yeah, I don't count. Well, what about Joker? No, I don't count either. Yes, it does.
I'm curious to see how Joker 2 does.
Yeah, well, I think what's slightly niggling me about Joker 2 is initially they were going, it's a musical. It's like, well, I'm not a huge fan of musicals. There's the odd exception that I do like, but I'm not, there's a new musical, I'll go watch that. It's just it's not my favourite genre. And I can't see it being a full-blown musical. But that's what they're kind of saying. Oh, it is. I'm like, don't say that. You're going to kill your box office. I don't know. I'm curious. I did enjoy the first one.
I didn't think it warranted a sequel.
No. Money, isn't it? Money talks.
It's money. Because it's when Neil Gaiman did Good Omens. And they're like, it's one and done. It's one book. This is it. And then it did really well on Amazon. And I said at the time, they will absolutely do Good Omens 2 if it does well on Amazon. And I was like, no. And then it was announced.
Yeah.
And then season 3 is announced, potentially.
Yeah.
I think it is, because the co-showrunner for season 2, Douglas McKinnon, isn't coming back for season 3. But money talks.
It does. And you know what? So it should, because it's a show. Yeah. It's a business, isn't it? That's why they call it show business, apparently.
Get the business part of show business.
And then, these, again, I will try and divert away from these bloody idiots that think they know everything. But they're like, why do they keep making sequels and franchises? Well, because they keep making money. If you don't want to keep watching them, don't watch them. And then they'll make less money and then they'll stop making them.
Yeah, vote with your wallet.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a firm believer.
Because we're not going to see another Flash film of Ezra Miller.
No.
We're not.
Which is a shame, because I really enjoyed The Flash. But,
I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Shazam 2.
Yeah, that's not a high benchmark from what
It's not a high benchmark, but I don't think they've got very high benchmarks.
No.
I thought Shazam 1 was great. I thought it was really good. But what do you think about them doing a new Karate Kid film with Ralph Macchio?
With Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan. So it's an unusual blend.
But are they going to mix that in with the Cobra Kai universe?
Well, Cobra Kai's got one more season, hasn't it, as far as I know, and it's done. So by the time the Karate Kid / the Kung Fu Kid, whatever they're going to call it, comes out, Cobra Kai will have finished. So I think they would be crazy not to at least have a bunch of Easter eggs in that for the Cobra Kai fans.
Because I think Cobra Kai is exceptional.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't sure about it. Because it was a YouTube
It makes no sense.
It was a YouTube Red.
Yeah.
and then it did really well. And my wife showed it to me, and we binged it all. And then we were waiting for the next series to drop, because they dropped them on New Year's Day. That's what they did initially. I don't know when they're dropping those new series, writer strike, SAG, and all that. But it's so 80s and cheesy, but wonderful in every possible way. It's just, I'm an 80s kid. I loved the Karate Kid growing up. I loved that you had Daniel was kind of the arsehole, and
it's very clever how they did that.
And then I just love it.
Because it's like, because we, when we watched the original, definitely the first two Karate Kids, you were like, oh, Johnny's a dick. He's horrible. Daniel's great. Stop picking on him. And then when you see the stuff in Cobra Kai, where you're like, Daniel's a dick. I like Johnny. It's like, and it wasn't a jarring shift.
No.
Yeah, you could go back and I reckon you could go back and watch a Karate Kid and go, do you know what? I'm still on Johnny's side. Ralph Macchio is a dick.
But
very clever.
But they tied it in so beautifully with the films.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if they're going to bring in the next Karate Kid. Are they going to?
Yeah. Well, just give Hilary Swank a call and go, do you know what? Pop over.
I quite enjoy the next Karate Kid.
Yeah, I like it. It's got Michael Ironside in it, so I'll pretty much watch anything that guy's in.
Michael Ironside, who said that when he got the script for Highlander 2, he said, I knew it was going to be trash, but it's going to be fun. So how can I make the most fun with it?
I will always defend Highlander.
Virgin Madison did it because she wanted a free holiday to Prague.
Yeah.
And then they ran out of money.
Went to Argentina then, didn't they, I think? Yeah.
They ran out of money, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then basically an accountant had to come on board and basically directed the film.
They did, because they ran out of money before they'd shot anything, hadn't they? Because it's like the exchange rate changed or something and just wiped out a load of their budget, which is mental.
Michael Ironside got into a stage fight with Christopher Lambert, because Lambert got injured, did his back in at the start, so he had to go away and recuperate for like 2 weeks, so they had to go film things about him.
Oh, wow.
But it was the wrong story, making them from an alien planet.
But I think we touched upon this in the last one, because of the Renegade cut, they fixed it.
I really want one of our panels to be about Highlander panels. We're not on a panel anymore. One of our podcasts, I'd love it to be about Highlander, because that is genuinely one of my all-time favorite films.
I was hanging out on some of the locations where they shot that back in July.
Right.
The first one up in the Highlands.
Oh, nice.
So Neil Johnson took me on a trip, and he was like, this is where he shot Highlander. I'm like, really? And he sort of pointed out where the hills were and all this sort of stuff. And then I went back and watched the film, and I'm like, he's right. It was up. Yeah. So that was quite cool. So,
it was an exceptional film.
I remember sitting in a cinema in the mid-'80s, and the teaser trailer came up, and the teaser trailer was just pretty much him in the car park, all the lamps and the windscreens and everything starts blowing up. And as a kid, you were like, what the hell is this film? What is it? Highlander. You're like, no idea what that's about, but it looks cool. And obviously you had the Queen music in there as well.
They tried to do a new trilogy of films back in like 2007, 8 with Adrian Paul.
Yeah. And
they called it like The Source or something.
Yeah.
And it was like a sci-fi movie. Remember the Sci-Fi Channel when that was a thing?
Yep.
And they tried to do it like that. And I remember I bought the DVD all excitedly, and I had to switch it off.
It bailed.
But
they are with Henry Cavill. And,
I'm not happy with that.
A lot of the people are like, I get it, but it doesn't ruin the original one, does it? But
no, I'm happy that they're rebooting it, but I would just wish to cast a Scotsman.
Yeah, that would be. As opposed to a Frenchman.
Of
course, everybody's like, who's going to play the Ramirez role? That seems to be the thing that everybody's trying to work out who that should be and stuff. So,
but they should have given it to like Sam Heughan from Outlander to Highlander, or they should have given it to even James McAvoy at a push.
Yeah.
He's knocking on a little bit for a film like that. We'll see if it actually happens, though.
Yeah, because this has been on and off, probably as long as the Crow reboot has been on and off.
I'm pretty sure Chris Pratt's name was mentioned at one time.
Really? When he was a kid? Yeah, probably. But we'll see if it happens. I kind of wish they would stop announcing films that never happen. because it gets everybody excited and then it never pops out, and then you're like, oh, so it makes you sad.
Sorry, my wife sent me a message. We communicate when I'm working. We communicate, and she's off. Obviously, she's in the other room with the boy. I think he sounds like he's asleep, which is good. She's like, if I can't get him to sleep, this is interesting chat for people watching at home, or listening to. Because our friend Barry, aka Dean.
Dean, yeah.
Dean Structor. I don't know why he's called Dean Structor.
Maybe it's a bit like the instructor, but Dean Structor. But come on, Barry, sort your name out. Change your name to Dean. That's the only solution.
He has told me in the past what it means, and it's went out of my head. Yeah. But Barry, if you're listening, because he was listening to it in his walk home or whatever. So Barry, if you're listening, comment below and tell Stu and I why you're Dean Structor. But yeah, so she was like, yeah, if I can't get the boy to sleep, I'm going to go out with him. But it's all went quiet, so I'm going to assume
that's good. All's well.
All's well.
So we're nearly into December, Fraser.
We are 2 days away.
We are very, very close. By the time people wake up and start watching this or listening to this will be like, no, we don't bother with Christmas. So it's therefore we've got 1 month left. So therefore, are you starting to get your plans ready for 2024, or did you start doing those in like March?
Because of the nature of my work and my overly ambitious plans, if it doesn't happen in 1 year, I shunt it to the next year. So Origins, for example, is forever ongoing until someone makes it.
Right.
So I had a meeting with a producer, big fancy Hollywood producer man, and we had a 15-minute chat as an introduction, and then he asked me to send him all the material, so our pitch deck or lookbook, whatever you want to call it, and script and everything else, pilot script. So I sent that to him, and then wait, and he goes, right, we'll get in touch in 2 weeks. So then 2 weeks came, and we set up a meeting, and then he had to push it back, and then I had to push it back again. So we finally had our meeting maybe 4 weeks later, and then we had like a 40-minute chat, and then I was like, right, we'll reconnect in mid-January. Like, oh.
Yeah, shunted again. And then the thing is, it's like we often, not just we, but people in general go, oh, this year's just flown by. Yeah, because the things I'm looking forward to are like 2.5 months from now. So I forget everything just to get 2 months from now. And that's why everything's going too fast. I'm planning
a musical, but like, because unlike you, I like musicals. And
there's a very short list of musicals I like. They don't make any sense to me.
No,
it's like how come everybody knows the lyrics? It messes with my brain. So
yeah.
I don't get it.
Did everyone get faxed a book?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, how come everybody knows the dance moves? It's one of those things that just messes with my brain.
But years ago, and we're talking like 2012, 2013, I came up with an idea for an on-stage musical called Captain Fantastic and the Fear of an Everyday Normal Life. And it's about a young guy-ish. He's older now because I'm older now. And it's about him wanting to work in the industry, like comic book artist. And his ex-girlfriend, who's still friends with, tells him that she's pregnant and he can be a part of the kid's life, but he's got to grow up and get a real job. But he keeps fantasizing that he is Captain Fantastic. And it's a cross between Kenny Everett's Captain Kremen, if you remember Captain Kremen.
I do, yep.
Flash Gordon and Rocky Horror. That's so... But it's not easy putting together a musical. But Lindsay Jenkins, my great producer, who worked on Cops and Monsters, Ninth Day, Faithful, everything that we do, she directs musicals for a living. Like, she is part of a theatre school for kids. So she's going to work with me. Her daughter is a beautiful singer, and we're going to work on some stuff there. And I've got a songwriter now who's going to do some demos for me. So we're going to try and get like a workshop done next year, and then record some demos, get them online into the hands of indie musical fans, and see if we can raise some money, and then see if we can open at the Fringe in like 2 years.
Nice.
So that's a plan, because it's on my bucket list.
Yeah. What, the bucket list is the musical part, or that specific Captain Fantastic story? The
Captain Fantastic, I think. Because I only want to do one. I've no interest in doing more than one.
It's like, a bit like events. You're like, I'll do one and then I'm out.
That we did. I've no interest in doing another one.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy to take. Although I do still think I'd make a cracking Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there. It's not on the list. I like to do it and then move on.
Well, if you do a Doctor Who event, there's a guy on my Facebook who I'm sure would love to attend. So
I want a picture of him on the wall. Do not let this person in.
Yeah.
For he is a sociopath. I'm going to say that he might have some issues.
Do you know what? I think a lot of people have got issues. Social media I think is fascinating. It just, because I remember life before social media. Obviously, we're during social media, and I think it's kind of. I saw somebody do a posting today saying they weren't feeling up to it, and they were apologizing. They were going to go offline for a bit. It's like, just go offline.
Yeah.
Just, if you're not fit, you don't need to announce the fact that you're going to go offline. But you see a lot of people do that. Who go, oh, I'm just going to take a social media break for the week. Just don't tell people. Just do it.
No one's to worry.
Have a break.
Who's phoning you and saying, "Oh my God, are you okay? I've noticed you're not tweeted in half an hour."
Yep.
Can we call it tweeted anymore?
I do. I've sort of been swung around to what you said. It's like, I'm still going to call it Twitter.
Social media can be very bad for your mental health.
Yeah.
And the easiest thing to do, and I'm guilty of it as well, not so much now, but I used to see my peers and other writers and whatever go, "Oh, I've landed a gig, or I've landed an agent, or I'm doing this and doing that," and I go, "Well, I'm not doing that. Am I doing it wrong?" And that would eat at me a little bit. So the easiest thing for me was just to not go on social media for a bit. I didn't announce it. I wasn't like, "I'm coming off social media," but don't worry, I preloaded these 30 tweets to go out one a day.
Yeah. But you're right. I think it can be unhealthy. And you see a lot of that in people.
We have seen like the iceberg tip of like the deepest, darkest side of the internet of like supposed fans for any franchise, and just how bad it can be. So I think it's really good for you to switch off your computer.
I tend to.
Do you remember like when you were younger, and you would like go on like MSN Messenger and stuff, or whatever? You would type, if it was your dinner time or you're at school, college, work, whatever, you would type in AFK.
Yep.
So away from keyboards, everyone knew we were away.
BRB. We do that. Nope.
We don't see that anymore because we're never away.
No. My phone is generally on silent most of the time now because I just don't want the damn thing beeping all the time.
Mine's on Do Not Disturb, so literally only my wife can get through to me.
Yeah. I
have to open my phone to see her messages.
Yeah.
Which is why I missed out on that Doctor Who direction job. But yeah, plans for 2024.
My plans have been ongoing for 2020. I think I was thinking back on this year, so the year that is coming to an end, and I was thinking, what are my highlights of the year? And for me, this year there's not been too many, which isn't a bad thing. It's like some years you have more highlights than others, and this year, other than quitting my job, which was mentally and physically a very good. So financially it wasn't too smart, but everything else, it was like, you know what, that was the time I needed to get out and whatnot. So that's been a highlight. But a lot of the other stuff, I haven't been to any events this year.
No, same.
I've done a few video podcasts, which have been great, but would I say that, oh, this one's a highlight, that one's a highlight? Podcasts, they're fun. I just don't want your ego getting any bigger. We did. I'm enjoying that. The fact that we've reconnected.
We've reconnected in the best
more,
way.
so that's good.
I have missed talking to you.
But generally, I've done lots this year, but there's nothing that's up there against everything else. So I'm hoping that next year will be my thing.
But you're brewing away at your plan for guests for next year on your podcast.
Yes. I'm headed for the nostalgia type things. I just hope I can get them.
I want in on one.
Well, I shall keep you updated on which ones they are, and then you go, oh, that one. There might be somebody where you're like, oh my God.
A Mogwai loving 80s star.
Yep. Zach.
No, Phoebe.
No, Phoebe Cates. Okay. Yeah. But I think this year for me has been a year of just clearing off loads of things that have been sat on my list for ages, thinning it down, because it's weird. I always think back to, like, I did a podcast for like a decade, and that was easy because once a week you'd put a headset on, you'd have a conversation, and that podcast would be done. And then I did a website, and then it'd be like, well, I'll do some press articles, but they're just coming through like a tsunami, those flipping things. And I can't sit down for 24 hours a day just loading things onto a website, especially when I'm not getting paid for it. So you have to pick and choose which ones you're going to post, which ones you are. And then you've got to share all that content. And it's just like thing after
There's so many
thing.
places to share now.
Well, that's ridiculous. There's about,
you forgot about your LinkedIn.
Yeah, well, I'm getting there with that. I figured, you know what, I just got to change a couple of things and then I'm up to date. Oh no, there's all these little things that are on there that I didn't even know you could do on LinkedIn. So I'm slowly getting used to using that again. So that's another one.
You'll find that your LinkedIn engagement might be better than other places.
Right.
I get really good LinkedIn engagement.
I look forward to that. So yeah, I've been clearing the decks of lots of bits and pieces, and then I'm going to try and go into New Year going, right, here's like 5 things I'm working on. I've shut down 2 of the main pages for a project that I was been working on, that I have been working on, that just I don't think is going to happen. So I'm like, you know what, didn't make an announcement. I'm now closing the pages down. I just shut them down and left them.
No one needs to know.
Well, I was looking at one of the Facebook memories and it popped up going, hey, 4 years ago you were doing this. And I'm like, 4 years?
Crikey.
4 years ago I was shooting like a second part of that, not even the first one. And it's like, I'm not up now, forget it. So I'm kind of putting that to sleep.
I'm really excited for you. And I hope that you've learned from it.
Yeah, I
hope that you go do it anyway.
Well, one of the things I'm thinking of doing at some point is, years ago when I thought, do you know what, writing scripts is well easy and getting films is quite easy, because all you got to do, and you take notes if you want, Fraser, just in case, you come up with a good story, you write it down, and then you give it to people, and they go make a movie, and they go, we love it. How much do you want for that? And you go, I'll have £100,000, please. And they go, not a problem. Apparently that's, I didn't quite think it was that easy, but I didn't think it would be difficult because I was stupidly naive and I watched films. I never interacted with filmmakers. So I wrote a whole bunch of screenplays and stuff that I've just sat in drawers. But then I got writer's block and I'm like, well, I want to write something, but I don't know what, because I've no original ideas in my head at that moment. So I started writing my autobiography.
Nice.
Which, that was a fun experience, and it still is. It's currently about 150 pages because I keep going through it and, I'll remember extra bits. And at some point, I want to go to the town I was born and hover around the places where some of these stories took place and just shoot some stuff and go, hey, that's the tree I fell out of. And, that's the window that my brother's head got put through, and, that sort of stuff. Oh, I have an interesting life story, certainly in the Scottish years.
It's not too far away from me.
No, Kirkcaldy, so it's probably just across the.
I'll come with you.
Across the map.
And we'll film it.
Yep. So that's one of my ideas, because I'd quite like to turn that into a little documentary.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, on the other side of that window, my dad put a shotgun to my mum's head. That sort. He didn't pull a trigger. Spoiler.
No one moved to England.
Exactly. Well, exactly. So obviously all the Scottish stuff's been written because I've lived it all. So I'm thinking of doing that, and that'd be quite easy. There's no special effects or anything. So
quite cathartic as well.
Yes. So that's one of my plans for next year. So at some point.
See, I had a good 2023 because I got married.
Yep.
And that was something I never thought would happen, through the trials and tribulations of my many failed relationships, and some good, some very bad, and then I met Siobhan in May 2022 on Tinder, engaged by July 10th because we went to see Black Widow at the cinema the day I proposed, and then we were married on June 12th, 2023.
Yeah.
And then obviously we had Harrison last August. So I'm good. It's good. And the documentary is coming out this year. And we've been working on that for a while. Origins is there, bubbling. Hopefully I get to make my feature film. My only, isn't it weird? Only my second ever feature film.
Yes, only your second ever.
And it's weird though, because I thought I thought I was going to be the filmmaking guy. I thought I was going to be the next Quentin Tarantino or the next Steven Spielberg, what a brain, or the next Sam Raimi. And I had such a jarring experience on making that movie because there were some really good moments and really bad moments, as well, trying to make a film. And I just swore off it. I was like, nah, I'm done. And then I was maybe going to do Origins as a movie. I wrote it as a movie. Like, there's a draft that exists on this computer that I'll potentially send you. That is just a movie. I mean, they did it until everyone told me it's a TV show. And I was like, okay, fine.
So the thing is, it's like years ago, if somebody had said, don't do it as a film, do it as a TV show, that would be an insult, sort of, wouldn't it? Because TV was the film's film and TV's. It's not so much now. I think it's kind of, TV is very quality. I mean, you look at HBO and all that sort of stuff. That's quality stuff.
If you watch the Doctor Who special that went out on Saturday, you could tell they're spending money.
Yeah.
Sweet Disney money.
So it's like, don't do a film, which is a maximum of 3 hours. So what about nowadays, unless you're Scorsese, in which case you can do an extra half hour, or you can do TV, which is many hours. Yeah. So therefore, that's now become a compliment.
And I always preferred TV as a medium creatively anyway, because you can do so much more in 8 episodes than you can in one movie.
Yeah.
But I feel that Marvel has made some TV shows that should have been a movie instead.
Well, isn't that because Marvel, they didn't have TV showrunners?
No.
They had people who would generally have been the ones making the movie, so that's why they feel like movies.
And they've allegedly sacked their entire Daredevil team.
Yeah.
And binned what they've shot. And they're starting again.
Yeah.
Isn't it nice to have that money?
It's great, isn't it? It's great.
But issue with Daredevil coming on Disney, and I loved the Daredevil Netflix series. I thought it was exceptional. Netflix knew how to do Marvel TV shows. Marvel don't know how to do Marvel TV shows. Loki's an exception. WandaVision's an exception. We'll see how this Agatha Harkness show does. And they've dropped a trailer for that, which I've not watched yet. And but they obviously cancelled Daredevil after season 3 because contracts run up to like the 3rd season and then they just bin it.
Yeah.
Because then they don't have to pay them any more money. But now they're doing it over at Disney. They can scrap it all and start again. And I think that's a mistake because they had great storylines going in the Netflix one. Did you watch Daredevil on Netflix?
I saw, I think, season 1, and then I dropped out because there's too much stuff.
We had the hallway fight.
Yeah.
Which was obviously an homage to Old Boy, I would assume.
Yeah.
And that was stunning, man. Like, proper stunning telly. And that's you should have brought them back to do your TV show on Disney.
Yeah, but then they'd have to pay somebody if they tied it in, they'd have to pay somebody else. And we all know Netflix is struggling for money, or Disney are struggling for money.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes it sick, doesn't it?
Did you see they're getting rid of all the Looney Tunes cartoons on HBO Max?
Are they really?
Yeah.
Is this because obviously they don't want to pay people to? It's so sad.
Literally.
It's so sad.
History.
Yeah.
History. And they're just binning it. And someone said, if you're not good at running a film studio, maybe you shouldn't run it.
Yeah.
You shouldn't run a film studio.
Yeah, there's a reason I'm not a painter or a professional football player, because I can't do either. So
it's a great documentary out there if you have the resources. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And it's like a 3-part or 1 hour long each thing, and it's like 100 years of Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I've seen that. Nudge, nudge, wing, wing. It was really good.
How good was that?
That was amazing.
But then they interview the current head of Warner Brothers, and he's like, "You're not part of this.
No.
You don't believe in this."
The thing is, it's like with the Looney Tunes thing, though. It sucks that they're taking them off the streaming platform. I mean, they are available on physical media because I used to have the DVD sets years ago. But if you think beforehand, before DVDs, before VHS, we didn't have access to them anyway because they were always played on TV. But it's kind of shifting back to the way it was before physical media popped up, which is, for a lot of people who don't remember what it was like beforehand, they're like, what? This is outrageous. It's like, well, it is outrageous, but it's the way it used to be.
Yeah, because we used to go to Blockbusters or whatever and rent Looney Tune videos.
Yep.
Because we used to run around the kids section. I miss video shops. Sure. But, running around to the kids section and just having like Back to the Future, Looney Tunes, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, all those classic stuff, Suburban Commando.
Yes.
And just going, oh, what one do I want? Oh, ooh. And I would constantly rent Looney Tunes.
We used to make a fortune by renting the Simpsons VHS ones. And you would get like 4 episodes on a tape, but you would just get the same kids coming in week after week. Just, I want that one. I want the Treehouse of Horror volume, whatever. They would just keep renting these damn things again and again. Nowadays, it would never happen because they'd be like, what? It's not a full season. It's crazy. It's the whole movie watching habits have so
the videotape
drastically changed.
10 episodes and no more.
Yeah. Bonkers. At some point, I'm going to do like a long podcast series on my VHS, my video shop tales and stories and stuff. That's probably something I'll try and knock out in 2024.
That's 2024.
Yep.
Or 2025.
No, I'm going to try and do 2024. I'm trying to sort of get everything off my bucket list in case I get hit by a bus. It made me sad that I've not done stuff.
Yeah. I always like this time of year. Because I'm a Christmas nut, as well, you know.
Yeah.
It's different now. I've got a wee boy, so it's starting to have the meaning that my parents probably did when they had kids.
Yeah.
Although my dad was a miser and he's like, oh, Christmas isn't as magical as it used to be. Christmas doesn't have the same feeling, blah, blah, blah. It's like, but you just take what you want from it. Don't try and recapture a feeling that you had from when you were 7, Ghostbusters fans. Try and just find what it is to you. It doesn't have to be a tree or presents or turkey, whatever. Just whatever is important to you. Spend your day watching your favourite films.
I generally do. I'm not a fan of Christmas. Nothing to do with but I always find Christmas an insanely lonely time of year because it's like, and I'm not one of these that sits at Christmas going, oh God. I'm not that. I have, a net downstairs and I've got a whole bunch of social media accounts where I can speak to my virtual friends that way. So I'm not that, but it's just, I've never had the feeling of a family Christmas.
Yeah, I get that.
So because I've never got it, and because you put the TV on and you see everybody else doing it, you're like, kind of wish in my life I'd have had that.
Yeah.
But I haven't had it, and probably won't get it. So therefore, I just don't have that thing. So that's why I'm not a massive fan of Christmas. But people who are like, oh, it's all commercial. Yes, because you're allowing it to be commercial.
You're going out and buying things.
Yeah. I have to. No, you don't have to.
But what I like about it is you get to the end of the year. And then you get to go, right, this year has been wiped.
Yeah.
And it's now the next year. And I know it's a cliche, but I like the fresh start.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And I like going, right, I'll conquer it this year.
Yeah.
I'll do this. We'll get money for Faithful. We'll go shoot that in March. The producer will love Origins and he'll get it made. So that'll start up and I'll do a feature. And then the year after that, my boy goes to nursery. So I'm hoping that will be a thing that you can just. I love the freshness of it where you go, right, this year we're going to crack it. Especially when producers keep going, we'll meet in January.
It's like, how many days? I've got 32 meetings in January. This could be fun. Somebody's going to have to get dumped.
Mid-January.
But I'm not a fan of these people. I don't do New Year's resolutions because I never do them anyway. It's like, well, maybe that's the problem. I always come up with some tasks that I'm going to do the next year. I love I'm not a fan of the last couple of days of the year because you're like, can we just get the new year ready so I can start all these things and go off racing. But yeah, so I'm now starting to try and get everything ready for the next year.
Come in fast.
Yeah,
it always does.
Yeah, it does. How are you doing with all your Christmas stuff?
Harrison's pretty much sorted. I've got like 2 things to get him. I've got a list of things that like Siobhan and I are like, right, what's our budget for each other this year?
Yeah.
Before it that much match, and then we always go £10 over. Saying that this is only our 3rd Christmas together, and then so we'll get all that at the start. I have one more corporate job to do at the start of December, and then it's my holidays.
Nice.
So I'll do that, and then when I get paid for that, I'll go out and get Christmas presents, and then with family and friends. But every year that dwindles a little bit more. So
because I have in actual people I know who I could, would visit or whatever. So I'm not including yourself in that. there's nobody that I buy, other than Annette, obviously, that I have to buy presents for. My only relative that I really give a damn about, she died in March, so I don't have my aunt around anymore. She was the person I always bought stuff for. My friend Bob, never see him. Haven't seen him for 3 years. So
last time I saw Bob over in Wales.
Yep, last time I probably saw him was in Wales. So he's not there. So it's money wise, it's quite easy for me at Christmas, but that kind of makes me sad too.
I had a friend from like primary one all the way up to high school, all the way past, and like maybe 2019 we probably stopped talking, and I'm a Scottish independence supporter. I'm a big fan of Scottish independence, but beyond that, I don't like what the Tories are doing to the country, like to the UK as a whole.
Me neither.
And Scotland has a chance to get away from that, so I think we should.
Yep.
And I feel sorry for people who are trapped in that situation and who are subjected to whatever mad world-tearing policies that the Tories have. But he was very much on the other side of the fence, and we just dramatically fell out. Every year we would spend Christmas Eve together, every single year, no matter what. And he'd pick me up the car, we'd go to the local shopping centre, we'd go get lunch together, we'd go play arcade games together, play pool together, play bowling together, and we'd always swap a selection box. And that was just a lovely wee tradition. And then 2019 rolled about. He got really grumpy one day about a post I made about Boris Johnson. And it was so simple. It was like he was in a travel car or something, and the driver dented the car on the pavement or whatever, and the headline was like Boris Johnson's car crashes. Like, oh God, and he's the man that's driving the country forward, can't even drive his own car.
Yeah, valid point.
You're always finding a reason to complain about him. Yes.
Yeah, and there's a reason that there's that, because he's Boris is a clown. So
yeah. So that was the catalyst, and then he started going on, because at the time I was made homeless because I broke up with my ex, and she changed locks and kicked me out. My family didn't want to know about it, and I was staying at a friend's, and but I was putting up on Facebook, like, or social media, does anyone have any flats going? Does anyone know where I can go? And he was like, oh, poor me, that you're looking for a flat. I'm like,
wow.
Yeah, I'm actually.
Yeah.
And then he started popping that I didn't have any kids yet, because he had 20, and then he had a pop at me doing my Ghostbusters charity work, saying, oh, it goes to show that you're not grown up because you're dressing up as a Ghostbuster. Like, yeah.
So's Bill Murray.
Yeah,
Bill Murray dressed up as a
Ghostbuster. I wish I raised money though. But we were literally raising money for children's charity and bringing smiles to faces.
Yeah. How dare you, Fraser? What's the matter with you, child?
But he couldn't cope with that. And it was almost like he was just holding all this stuff in, but was too scared to say. And then obviously I flipped a switch in his head and he just went, oh. And I was like, cool. I didn't even say anything to him, I just blocked him. And I've not spoken to him since. But that's sad.
Yeah,
because
it is.
Literally it wasn't the best friendship in the world, but it was there and it was nice.
And it's a shame when you both fell out over people that don't even know either of you exist.
Yeah.
And that's the world we live in as well. Obviously we've seen Doctor Who riots and Marvel and DC riots, and it's like,
Did you enjoy my Facebook post with my Doctor Who complaint form?
I did, yeah. I think Marvel needs one of those as well. To be fair,
I really want you to share that on your Facebook.
No, I don't, because it's like, I think I ended up going back, do you know what? I don't get why you care, and I don't care. I'm just,
we're done.
People, and you see it a lot on all range of topics where they wake up in the morning and it's just like, right, what can I be pissed off at today? Yeah. What am I going to be mad? It's just, don't be mad at anything. I'm looking out the window now. The sun's out. It's a little bit chilly, but the sun's out. I'm having a chat with you. It's fine. Today's a lot. Exactly. Things could be a lot worse. And if you're going to get really mad over a film not being perfect or a TV show not going the way that you wanted it to, just turn the channel or whatever. Yeah. Watch something else.
It's not hard. I don't normally engage in it anymore, because it's just like, there's a great thing I saw a while ago. It's like, you can teach a pigeon how to play chess, but it's still going to shit on the board and fly away.
Yeah.
So, moving on. Like,
And I used to get it at work, which is part of the reason I just bailed out of the customer service role. You would just get people coming in at you, just really angry that the thing they ordered yesterday hasn't arrived. It's going to be a day late, and they'd paid like £3 shipping or something. Not you'd refund it. You go, do you know what? The shipping costs. I get it's late. Have it back. That's not the point. Beyond that, there is nothing we can do. It's just delayed. This is outrageous, and they're just so. People are all going to start blowing up at one point. They'll be like lemmings. They'll just all start exploding, and it's not worth the hassle.
Calm your head, guys. Like, it will come tomorrow. And if
I needed it today. Blah 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 blah.
a day before then, order it a day before.
Your website says if I ordered it yesterday, it would be here. They do. They stay on there for hours. And you're like, there's nothing else I could tell you. Get me your supervisor. No. And I used to find myself get really. I used to tell them that. I used to say I'm the most senior person in the room because I was working from home and it was 2 a.m. So it's true. I was the most senior person in the room because there was nobody else in the room. But I used to just find myself get really like annoyed and that stressed out that I could physically feel like, and I'm like, you know what? It's time to bail. And that was one of my targets for 2023. So if there is a highlight, it was like I set myself the goal to get out. I had no clue what I was going to do next, and to be honest, I still don't. But I knew. But I'm one of these. I don't know if you're the same. I'm guessing you are, because when you found yourself like without house, if you get dropped into chaos, you'll find your way out.
Yeah.
You won't just curl up in a ball and go, I can't cope. I've lost. Life's beat me. I'm done. I'm one of those. It's like, right, I'll quit because I need to, and then I'll worry about what I'm going to do afterwards. And usually something will pop up.
Yeah. So things. As Jeff Goldblum once said, life finds a way.
Yes.
And I think,
poor Jeff Goldblum. He used to be on Disney Plus, didn't he? Now he's not. Outrageous.
Did you enjoy Jurassic World Dominion?
That was the newest one, wasn't it? Not as much as the others.
No, there was high hopes because they were bringing back the band.
Yeah.
And I feel like it just didn't work.
They kind of brought the band back for the encore, and I'm like, I kind of wanted them in the whole movie, and it was a bit. And I watched the extended version as well, so I saw everything that they had done. But yeah,
so it was an extended version.
There is. I like extended versions. They're not always better than the theatrical version, because there's a few that I've seen where I'm like, I kind of like the shorter one, but I will always try and watch.
I accidentally watched the extended version of That Thing You Do.
I didn't know there was an extended version of that one.
Not realise, because it's one of Siobhan's favourite films, and it's one of my favourite films.
It's good.
And I didn't even know there was an extended version because I watched that film a lot when I was younger.
Yeah, same.
So I started noticing scenes that I didn't remember. So on the phone, and there was an extended version.
Quite a lot of extras?
18 minutes, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
It's good. Soundtrack's great.
Yeah.
Like, they changed the ending slightly. So he doesn't, it's not specifically stated that he becomes like a session drummer.
Yeah.
But he ends up working for the radio station that he gets interviewed on earlier and becomes like a journalist and it's quite nice, like a music journalist.
Nice. I'll have to check that out. I don't like the extended versions where it's like 2 extra minutes. You're like, I don't really. No, but give me something like the 15 minutes or the 2 hours for the Napoleon one that we're going to get when it drops onto Apple. That's crazy.
The other day she says, I don't know much about Napoleon. And I said, I know he got beat at Waterloo.
Yeah. And he wore a funny hat.
And Joaquin Phoenix will be great, but over the top.
Yeah. But I don't feel the need to rush off to the cinema and watch that one, especially when I know it's a shorter version and one I'll be able to watch at home in a few months' time or weeks or whatever.
Looking forward to that when I eventually get time to watch it.
Yeah.
Because this is your issue. It's finding time.
Yeah, of course.
Sit down to watch something.
Especially with a child, I would have thought.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he goes to bed at 8:30-ish, and then by the time we're all settled, we're in bed by 10:30, 11. So you're cramming your life into. And there's a kids' TV show from Australia called Bluey, which is quite popular in the parent world, and it's about a mum dog, dad dog, and toddler dogs, Bluey and Bingo, And someone put up a meme, and it's like, it's the mum and the dad just exhausted on the sofa. It's like when you cram your entire life into 2 hours.
Yeah,
And we're like,
pretty
oh,
much.
It's true.
So what have you watched this week that's been good?
Well, I haven't watched this week that's been good. We have been binge watching. Not all telly has to be great, right?
Yeah, of course.
So we have been binge watching Four in a Bed.
Right, yeah.
On Channel 4 because we love the drama, and there's nothing more dramatic than 4 hotel owners, B&B owners getting bitchy at each other,
yeah,
and then having a standoff. Nothing better. And if you Google best Four in a Bed episodes, there's a whole Reddit section.
Really?
People who have like systematically reviewed what time, the hotel name, when it went out, the name of the episode, whatever. And it's like, cool, good, thank you for being there. However, I did see a lovely thing in social media where there's an actress whose dad he's got terminal illness, but he was in part of like a karate display group on You Bet.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember You Bet?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And she was trying to find his episode to watch it with him. So through the power of social media, I shared it. Tons of people shared it, but I shared it. And there's a guy on there that I know who used to work for the company. So he managed to speak to someone else. And then 2 days later, that she had the episode in her hands.
See, isn't that what social media should be like?
Lovely.
I would say social media, not anti-social media. And I somehow seem to step into the anti-social media part. I don't know how I click out of that one and go back to the social media. But that's
she knew what year it went out, because they came back and went, do you know who the guests were? Was it Matthew Kelly or Darren Day? I didn't know Darren Day hosted You Bet. I obviously dropped off at that point when I was just thought when Matthew Kelly left, the show would end, much like Stars in the Rise. There's no Stars in the Rise past Matthew Kelly, as far as I'm concerned. And but she knew it all. But it's amazing that like from like that little bit of information, she found it. But yeah, we binge watched Four in a Bed. We're trying to watch Quantum Leap season 2. I quite like Quantum Leap season 2
of the new Quantum Leap. Yeah,
it's not. It completely lacks the charm of the original.
Mm-hmm.
But the chemistry between Scott Bakula and Dean Stockwell back in the day was so strong that they didn't really need us. There was no overarch story in Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
It was just story of the week, and occasionally a bit of lore, a bit of myth, story of the week. Well, this is season 1 was an arc plus story of the week, and now they've kind of shoehorned another arc, and it's 50-50 between Ben, the lead on the Leap, and then back at Project Quantum Leap. So it's 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that in a way, because it's nice to see the other people. And Ernie Hudson's in it as like the boss.
Nice.
I love Ernie. He plays Magic, and we love Ernie Hudson. But I don't know. Like at the moment, we're only like 5 episodes in, and there isn't like this great giant mystery yet. But we can tell it's coming to it, because they've cast an actress from Australia who was in an episode, and she's been announced that she's going to be coming back. Kind of like, okay, but how is she coming back? So I hope they're clever. I would have preferred the story was his fiance dies in the future, and he doesn't remember it because his brain's all Swiss cheesed, and it's him trying to figure out how to stop that from happening. But I wish it was, we have to find Sam Beckett.
Yep.
Because at the end of the original Quantum Leap, it says he never returned home. And I thought it would have been better if that was the story.
Well, you will have to wait and find out where they're headed to on that.
But what are you watching?
I'm watching lots of old films. I'm digging my DVDs out. I started off watching Hard Boiled from 1992. So a John Woo film, which to me is still one of the best action films ever. Some of the choreography that is just mind-blowing. And then I thought, well, I've watched that, so I'm going to watch The Killer, which was one of the previous John Woo films. I thought, well, seeing as I've watched that, which is also a great film, I might as well watch the third John Woo film that I've got, which is Bullet in the Head, which is my favorite John Woo film. It's absolutely amazing. So I've been watching, I've dug the DVDs out my little shelf of things I've been watching this week. And then I put online that I'd watched them, and nice people were coming out going, I love that movie. It's great. I've not seen it for years. It's like, wow, this is refreshing. Nobody was like, fuck Hard Boiled. It's woke. It's woke. Nobody was, none of that. So then I got really cocky last night and I rewatched Kevin Costner's The Postman, which is a film I really do. I do like that film. Critics hated it back in the day because they had the knives out for Kevin Costner going, we need to take you down a few pegs. Was that what, sorry?
Was that after Waterworld?
That was after Waterworld, which I also enjoy. I like Waterworld. It's fun and stupid and far-fetched and daft, but it's fun.
Waterworld is like one of the most popular shows at Universal Hollywood. Like that, they have sold out. It's not the word. You don't buy tickets to see it, but they are booked out. That there's like every performance of Waterworld at Universal always houses.
And that was a fun show. I saw that back in '99. It was great. Filmed it.
It's still going.
Yeah.
What, 24 years later?
Yep, still there.
And the fans are slow. I've not had I went to Universal Studios out in Hollywood back in 2011 when I was out there for the LA Film Market.
Yeah.
But I can't even remember what we did.
I saw Waterworld. I saw Backdraft. I saw the Beetlejuice show. I did the Jurassic Park ride.
Yeah, the Jurassic Park.
So I did that, and
I did Shrek 4D because that was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't do that one.
I did The Simpsons. When you went out there, was it Back to the Future?
It was 99, so it probably would have been, but that's not one I was able to do. I did the backlot tour, so I went past the Psycho House, went past the DeLorean and the A-Team van. I'm like, holy shit! So I was like, just pointing the most prehistoric camcorder, like here, there, and everywhere, trying to capture everything.
Was it the Jaws bit?
Yeah, it went over the Jaws bridge, and the shark came out, and the King Kong. King Kong was there, which that burned down, didn't it?
Replaced by Harry Potter.
Yep. So it's fun. I would love to do that again with like a proper camera and go, now I know what I'm doing. Whereas before it's like, oh, look, filmed it. And that's great when you're looking at it, but not when you're watching it back.
So I'm a theme park enthusiast is a nice way of putting it. So I follow a handful of like Universal and Disney bloggers,
yep.
And they're great and I absolutely love it. But you fall down a wee rabbit hole, and I found someone doing a backlot tour, and they get into like the town square, but it's been dressed for Back to the Future 2 in the future.
Oh wow, that was cool. I think I've got some brief shots of the backlot, the town square, when the van pulled up into it, but it wasn't set dressed or anything. It was just, it was just the way it was. But I do miss those days. I really want to do the Harry Potter world in UK.
Yeah,
the actual tour at some point, but it's just expense and stuff.
Not for the creator, but for the creatives. I would love to go do that because they put a lot of work into that.
Yeah, they have. And you're allowed to film whatever, because I ended up asking them. I'm like, look, if I come down, can I film? Is there any filming restrictions? They're like, nope, film whatever you want. I'm like, count me in. It's just the sheer cost. So, because some places you've got to sort of sneak your camera out and go.
Yeah.
But they were like, we don't care. So obviously you wouldn't get away with going with like laying tracks down and stuff. I don't think you get away with that, or flying drones around. But if you're there with like a handheld camera,
setting up lamps.
Yeah, exactly. Hold this right. You lot don't move. We've sealed this area off. So
your motivation is here. You've just stepped into Hogwarts for the first time. Genuine reaction. Take 52.
Yeah. Just hopefully Warwick Davis isn't there charging me VAT, because that would be quite sad.
we met Warwick Davis in Edinburgh, and he was lovely as pie.
Do you know what? You always hear the phrase, sometimes people have an off day. And we all do, but
never heard of it.
No, sometimes people are grumpy, but it's like, if that's your job and you're making money from that day, you can't be grumpy.
Yes, that Gallican definitely upset me. He did not want to be there. I can't even show you the photo because I deleted it. Because he was like
I still have the photo of the very semi-famous British person that went, nope, like this. I still have the picture where they refused to let me take the picture.
I remember you telling that.
And to the day, I have never praised him in a review for anything. I get press releases through going, starring such and such, who's amazing in this. And I always delete out the amazing part. And it's always like, the film stars such and such. And then everybody else will be amazing, but not them. It's like, nope, I do hold a grudge.
I can't remember who it was. So tell me later.
I'll tell you after, because I cannot. I will never mention. But I still have the photos where they're like that. No, you must pay £25 to take my photo from 100 feet away. It's like nope.
People are so silly. People are so silly. I remember when we cast Caitlin Blackwood in Cops and Monsters, and we were setting it all up and stuff. She was at a convention, and her mum was there, and I went over to say hi, and I was with Des, and I was like, "Oh, Caitlin, it's Fraser. We're going to work together on Cops and Monsters." She goes, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And we're like, "Well, we'll get a quick selfie for social media," and then her mum tried to charge me.
That's great. And the mum knew who you were?
Yeah, but she went, "It's Fraser from Cops and Monsters." Oh, that's fine then.
Right. Yeah. It's a mad world that we live in. It's crazy.
I wish people would pay us for a photo.
I wish I get paid for anything, to be fair. It would be nice. I want somebody to just go, "Hey, I know what you do. Assume when you do it, come work for me." That'll do. But that's my plan for 2024. The phone will be ringing off the hook.
An industry job.
Yes.
Get on Fiverr. Advertise your skills.
Yeah. I do have a Fiverr account, actually. That was one of the many things that I was looking at last year.
I did it for a while. It was fine. So my wedding work is kind of my bread and butter at the minute, annoyingly. But it has slowed. But I'm part of like a Scottish wedding videography group on Facebook, and everyone across the board is just dead.
Do you think that's camera phones that are just
killing
it a lot?
There's content creators now who go in at like £500, £300, and they'll film it all on their phone, photos and videos, but the sound would be terrible.
Yeah,
because they're not making anyone up, and then they're just pinging it across. And I'm seeing more and more now, brides and grooms saying, mostly brides, because brides are the ones that get shit done, and it's like, can anyone recommend content creators? Because I have to take a second shooter with me because I don't have my own kit anymore because I got rid of my kit for money reasons, and truthfully, and so I shoot with a friend, and he has all the kit, so I have to pay for him for the day, and then you're editing for a week or two, and then you do a really good job, and 9 times out of 10 they love it. 1 time out of 10 they hate it, and they let you know. Even though they go, "We love it. Can I have 2 changes? Here's your 2 changes. Here are the 18 things I hate about my wedding video," and you fix as much as you can, and they go, "We accept that edit, but we're still disappointed." And like, well, there's nothing I can do.
Because that kind of that must break your heart a little bit as well. Because you're like, do you realize how much work I put into that? Yeah.
And like I did everything for them, and just still nothing. And then I sent out 2 wedding videos in June and July, and they've not even watched them.
I think, do you know what? I think a lot of that ties into the stuff that I saw in the customer service type of thing. Because obviously you would get customers that come in and go, "I've got a problem," and you'd go, "I fixed it. Brilliant." But then you would get them that would come in and they go, "I've got a problem," and you would fix it, and you would go, "Do you know what? Because you've had a bit of hassle, I'll give you like 10 quid off your next thing." And they'd be like, "Well, I want more than..." They'd still be arsey.
Yeah.
And it's people's behavior right across the board, I think, that are just like, I don't know.
It's entitlement.
Yeah.
It's genuine entitlement. But I find it so bizarre. Like, and there was another one that we did, and he came. So I think I sent 2 weddings off at the same time, and one couple came back to me like, "Oh my god, we love it. It's amazing. It was really emotional to watch. Is it possible to get these little things changed? If not, totally fine. We love it." So I did those 2 things, sent them back. She goes, "Oh my god, you did exactly what we needed." Went and left a lovely review. Her mother-in-law left a lovely review.
Nice.
And the other guy was like, "Some changes. I'll send them over to you some point next week." That was about 2 months ago.
Still not had them.
But
then you'll do those changes and you'll be like, "Look, this thing took 6 months to get finished." You're like, "That's because of you, because you didn't send the changes over."
And genuinely, that has happened before. Like, I've had like someone asked for changes. I replied to them saying, I answered their questions and asked questions, and then a year gone by, they're like, "Where's my wedding video?" I'm like, "Well, I asked you questions."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, sorry," and then gave me their answers. And I got it all done, and I've sent it, and I make up personalised USB sticks for them. I order them on Etsy, and it's really nice boxes, and it's got whatever. I say to them, "You get 2 lines of text, whatever you want," and I send them off to Stuart, and then nothing. Just
It's horrendous, isn't
But
it?
one of my friends, she's a wedding photographer, she did photos for our wedding, and she's the same. She goes, you send the links to the galleries, and you just don't hear anything. Ain't that bizarre? If you're spending that amount of
Absolutely
money,
crazy.
you're
Yeah.
spending that amount of money, none.
And yeah, I watched a film earlier this week called Abigail, which is this. I'm going to say it's a small indie film. It's not a
I know what
studio.
it is,
It's not a studio picture. And I looked at the cover art, and it's an actress with an axe, and I'm like, well, that kind of looks a bit like a film called Becky, which I watched, which is just a great film. If you've not seen Becky, it's bonkers.
Yeah,
And I thought, kind of looks a bit like that. The film wasn't like that, so it was a very different film.
Right.
But it was still a really, really good film. So I thought, right. So typed up a nice review, bang, shared it across Twitter. The actress picked up on it, going, "Oh my God, that's amazing." Gave me a follow. Then sent me a private message going, "Thank you so much for that, blah, blah, blah. Are you also on Instagram?" I went, "I am, actually." And then next thing, I got a follow on Instagram. The review's been blasted all over her stories and all this sort of stuff. It's like, do you know what? I'm not saying everybody needs to be appreciative of what I do, but it's really nice when people are nice, but it's a rarity, which is kind of wrong. It shouldn't be a rarity.
No. I think, like, I even notice in the streets now, if, like, you hold the door open for someone or you step out of someone's way, or if someone walks into you and you apologise for being in the way, even though you weren't in the way, and they just stare through you.
Yeah. Some of that's pandemic because they forgot how to interact. But to be fair, the sort of pandemic was unlocked a couple of years ago now. So it's like, it's no excuse. Sort yourself out. Just, humanity's doomed.
I just don't like rudeness.
No.
Because I was taught to be polite. Like, I was brought up, mind your manners.
Yeah.
And
different generation. Your job is to raise your child with manners, which I'm sure you're both doing. So
just be mindful. Like, don't respect people just because they're older, but just be nice.
Yeah.
Like, it literally costs you nothing to say please and thank you.
But it's also, you spend less energy being nice than you do being grumpy.
So last time it was, why are film fans so grumpy? This time it's, why are people so grumpy?
No, they kind of are. It's certainly around Christmas time. It's like we made the mistake of going into Manchester to do Christmas shopping. Not wise. So there's no need for that many people being in this huge city. This is ridiculous. But everybody was walking around stressed. I mean, bear in mind, it's Christmas time. It's the time of year when you're supposed to be all nice and thoughtful and caring and helpful and go, yay, we like other people for this 1 month, and then they can all piss off basically in January. But they were all grumpy. They were all stressed. Ugh, I'll get her this pen. This will do. Yeah, that'll do. Buy her that. No, just be nice. It's easier. It's fun.
What you say? Like, just like, either embrace it and enjoy it,
or ignore it,
or don't bother.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself through that.
Exactly.
It's not hard.
Find some nice films to watch. I'm doing an article this afternoon. Nobody's asked me to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway because I've seen people talking about it. Life After the Never-Ending Story.
Yes.
I've seen people talking about that, and it's like, do you know what? I absolutely adore the Never-Ending Story. So I'm going to piece a load of information together about that documentary and just put it all together in an article and share it because I want to.
I would like a cover of the theme tune, please.
You will not cover that.
I want you singing the Never-Ending.
You'll be singing, Jesus. Okay. I'll do my best.
You can do the horse.
Yeah. I think there's Chris in Canada. If you're listening, you do that because he's the musical talented genius. Chris says he records under the name Enerex, which is took me a while to get used to pronouncing that, but you'll see me share that on Facebook now and again. But that guy is freaking talented. So
there's pretty crazy rights over the Never-Ending Story, I'm pretty sure, because I know they're desperate to do it again.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure I watched something a while back about the crazy rights, because there was 3 films, wasn't there?
Well, there was 3, but I like to pretend it was just 1. So yeah,
the second one's fine.
Yeah, that's never going to reach the heights. I mean, I was 13 when I was sitting in a cinema. You know, and if you remember the film well, I was actually a kid who was constantly chased by bigger shitheads than I was, who would have to hide out in places to avoid a kicking. And then you go into the cinema and you watch a Never-Ending Story, which is about this kid hiding away from. But you're like, you know what? It just gelled perfectly with me, which is why I adore the first one. And then second and third one, I'm like, because they recast and it kind of messed with my brain, and it doesn't look as good as the original film. But
is it the second one where he makes wishes, but when he does that, he forgets where he's from?
can't even remember. I've only ever seen number 2 and number 3 once.
Yeah, I think it's the second one. And then the cast of the third one. I remember liking the princess as a kid.
Tammy, yep.
Yeah.
She's awesome. She's a musician now. She's a singer and dancer and stuff like that. So she's still out there in the wonderful creative world, but
that's what you like.
She's not living in Fantasia. She's living in, I think it's like Australia. I think she's from. So.
She escaped.
Yeah, but no, she's great. So
yeah, I think we did our horror. We like to watch our horror movies during Halloween season, so we watched Totally Killer.
I've not watched that yet, but I've got it lined up.
They gave it the wrong name.
Okay.
It's a movie about a girl who goes back to the 80s to stop a serial killer. It should have been called Slashback.
Yeah, that's a good name. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All let the money come through.
Yeah.
And then we watched The Final Girl.
Yeah.
Which is like a comedy thing. And I knew it was going to end, that there were spoilers, that they were still in the movie. Okay. But in the sequel, there was no real explanation of how they got there. And there was no real explanation if they were ever going to get out. But that was really good. Mm-hmm. And it had Malin Ackerman in it. And I love Malin Ackerman. She's not in enough. But she was great in it. And then we watched Happy Death Day, which is like one of my all-time favourite ones.
They're really good. I'm hoping there's a third one, I think, coming around the corner, isn't there? I think. But
no.
Really not. They're not doing a third one. No, they should do. The second one was really good as well.
Didn't do well enough. Unless they've changed their minds.
I hope they have. Yeah.
Scream. I watched Evil Dead Rises.
Oh, I love that film.
So good.
Oh, it's so good, that film. That is like intense with capital letters, that one.
The change of setting was really clever.
Well, Annette I'd watched it first. I made the mistake of putting it on at 10:30 at night. I'm like, I'll just watch this film, and then I had the freakiest dreams and nightmares ever after that. And then I sat down with Annette to watch it a few days after, and she just kept watching the film going, that poor girl, like the young actress, I've forgotten her name, but she was like, oh my God, she's going to be traumatized. I'm like, no, because there's certain ways to shoot people, and they don't even realize what they're in. And then next thing, the scene is she's like in an elevator drenched in blood, and I'm like, yeah, there's kind of no getting around that part. So it is. I think it would be fascinating to talk to like her, going, so what did you think when they were doing all this stuff?
Yeah, which is a bit older and ask her. Yeah. But I hope they do another one.
Same.
I think because what was good about that one is like there was no obvious connections to like the original.
No, you didn't have to see any of the others. No. To watch Evil, because I hadn't seen the remake. Tangling myself up in the cable here. I hadn't seen the remake in 2013, and I'd seen all the Sam Raimi stuff. So Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. My favorite is still Army of Darkness.
My favorite Darkness because
I love that film.
Seeds just went balls to the wall. This is going to be a Three Stooges film.
Yep. So we started off talking about Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi is also
avoided Sam Raimi.
He's a weird filmmaker, but I like that. I like the fact that.
I do think he's weird.
Just because he's got his own unique style, like you said about Doctor Strange, you could watch it and go, "That's a Sam Raimi film." I love the fact that you could tell it's you could see the Sam Raimi in a Sam Raimi film.
Too, when they try and saw Doc Ock's arms, that's just pure horror. That's pure Sam Raimi.
I love Darkman. I never tire of watching Darkman.
There's 3 of them, right?
There is, yeah.
But Liam Neeson did 2?
First one. I think I don't know if he did. He come. He might have come back for the second one. I'm not sure, but
Bruce Campbell's in there somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, Darkman I used to watch a lot.
Bruce Campbell's in everywhere.
I tell you what, we're talking Sam Raimi. I love Drag Me to Hell.
I was thinking about Drag Me to Hell.
Oh, so good.
It promises to deliver.
Yeah.
And it does. The bit with the talking goat.
Yeah.
Is just incredible. And the ending is just so whoa.
Yeah. It's not a happy ending. It's like, what the flip? No. But Sam Raimi, Quick and the Dead. I'm also a big fan of that. Sounds like I'm just rattling off his film, but these are all the ones that are springing to mind. But
he also produced Hercules.
Yeah.
And then he did Xena. But I love Sam Raimi because he was like I'm going to make this film no matter what indie filmmaker, and I felt that I had that fight in me. And they went round dentists and shops and doctors and everything with their short films and go, please give us money for the Evil Dead.
Yep.
And
they got it.
And if you need to read If Chins Could Kill,
yeah, I've read that,
which is the Bruce Campbell autobiography, and like he goes into great detail about how they made the Evil Dead, and it's awe-inspiring. Like they ran out of money and equity time for the actors, so they sent them away. So they had to just get the crew and like the Deadite outfits to pretend to be them. And I can't remember how the first one ends, and which is crazy. I physically can't remember because I just know the second one is a follow-up, but it's also sort of just a remake.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's an odd thing, isn't it?
And then it goes, because obviously they're like, we're going to give you lots of money, do Evil Dead again. And he's like, nah, I'm going to do a sequel. And there might have been a power struggle somewhere there. So it's kind of a half sequel, half reboot. Because they change certain things. And then the third one, I love the third one, but I do. Yeah. But I love both endings.
Same. Yep.
Like same. I absolutely adore both endings.
But it's like I've got the first Evil Dead on DVD, which has got the commentaries are pretty good. If you've not listened to those, I can get you those if you need them. But I'm a little bit. Annette's never seen it, and I genuinely think if you sit her down and watch that, it'll probably look well dated. I think because obviously it's a low budget film and it was like early 80s.
Did the first one come out 82?
Yeah.
And it might have been 84.
I think it might have been. I know Army of Darkness was around 92, wasn't it? So I think Evil Dead 2 was probably 87, I think, for the second one.
It must have been later for the first one then. They wouldn't have waited that long.
I'm guessing 81 for the first Evil Dead.
I think you're right. Because it was a video nasty. Remember, it was bad.
Well, it was a video nasty by accident. It was a video nasty because of the title, not because of the content. Because they're looking at the video nasty thing, which is something I remember living through as well. And it was like, oh, Evil Dead, that's a horror film. Yeah, put that on the list. And they'd never seen it. They just somehow dumped it on there. And then eventually it came off. So Evil Dead Rise of 2013, 1981, 1987. And then obviously like 1992 for
6 years.
Yeah.
Between the first and the second.
But you've got to remember, it's like the first Evil Dead came out, and then it took a while for it to then take off, and certainly with the whole video nasty thing, I think that probably helped make it insanely popular.
Yeah.
So.
But whether or not they go back to it proper. Because Bruce Campbell said after he did Ash vs. Evil Dead, he said, when that's done, I'm done.
Yeah.
But I quite enjoyed Ash vs. Evil Dead.
I haven't seen the series.
You should.
Yeah. Does it tie in with the movies, or is it's its own thing?
Not the third one, because they didn't have the rights.
Yeah.
But first two, yeah.
Right.
And Xena's in it.
Really?
In it. Yeah, it's good. It's really, really good. They're not that long. I think they're like half-an-hour episodes, 40-minute episodes, and they will only be about 10 episodes per season.
So I could binge, hammer through one season per weekend or whatever.
And then I think it's a cliffhanger, which never is potentially.
See, people moan about cliffhangers, but I remember Empire Strikes Back in 1980, and I had to wait 3 damn years to find out what was going on with that one. So
there's a film coming out in December 5th that I really want to watch, and it's all about the Star Wars holiday special.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think their account follows me on Twitter or something like that. Somebody retweeted it, and I'm like, oh, what's this? Oh yeah, they follow me, and I'll follow them. So if I do end up with a screener of that, I'll let you know, and we can review it.
Yeah,
we can both do it together. So
I think that'd be wild.
Yeah. Do you think George Lucas will be sitting down watching that documentary, going, "Oh, can't wait for this," or will he be embarrassed?
Yeah, didn't he allegedly burn all the copies of it?
Yeah, good luck with that in an internet world. As long as there's one out there, then you never get rid of anything.
My good friend Billy Kirkwood used to do bad movies with great comedians. So we did Troll 2.
Yep.
No relation to Troll 1. Jaws, The Revenge.
Yeah, that is a bad movie.
Flash Gordon, not Flash Gordon. Anyway,
yeah, I've seen that. That's terrible.
He-Man and Master of the Universe.
Yeah.
Which I love. I love Master of the Universe. And then at Christmas time they did the Star Wars Holiday Special, and I had never seen it to that point. And I went and watched it with a bunch of film fans and Billy and his pal Joe watching this thing, and oh my God, Stuart, it was mental.
Yeah.
It's indescribable. So it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
We'll say nothing.
Yeah.
Apart from B. Arthur sings in it.
Yeah.
As an owner of a bar on Tatooine in Mos Eisley, for reasons unknown. Carrie Fisher sings with a weird light on her face. Mark Hamill has dodgy makeup because it was just after his car crash.
Yeah.
Why Harrison Ford agreed to do it, we'll never know.
Why anybody did.
And then they used a lot of deleted scenes from A New Hope. And then the only saving grace is that it's the first on-screen appearance of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
In cartoon form. And that's the only saving grace.
You'd never get that made now. I mean, you look at the Guardians Christmas special or holiday special, and that was amazing. So it's like, amazing. That's leaps and bounds from when the Star Wars holiday special came out. Yeah.
But I'm so excited for that documentary.
Yeah. I will keep you updated on that then.
Yeah. So I know that's coming out on the 5th.
Yeah. Of December.
As far as I'm aware.
Sweet.
A trailer went out a couple of weeks ago.
I may do 2 press articles this afternoon, and Never Ending Story and that one, just to see if I can get their attention.
I want to watch Violent Night, I think it's called. And
no, the John Woo one.
No.
With Hopper out of
David Harper.
That's really good. I love that movie. It's just like John Wick with Santa Claus.
Yeah, because I think John Leguizamo's in it.
Yep, he is. Yep, that's a great film.
Yeah, is it called Violent Night?
Yeah, Violent Night. Yeah. So
that's
just like watched. A pissed off Santa Claus.
That's getting watched this Christmas. Because apparently they're doing a sequel for that as well.
Brilliant. So they should.
So I'm going to give that a go, and we'll start the Christmas watch probably soon, because we all have our favourite Christmas songs, but then time just goes away.
It does. Next thing you know, it's January, and you've got meetings to have.
In mid-January.
Mid-January, yeah.
Yeah. I'm very excited. I'm cautiously excited, because he could have sent me an email saying, right, I've read all your stuff, but thanks, but no.
Blocked. What? Don't block me. Don't block me.
But instead, he's like, right, I've got all these plans, and I'm going to do A, B, and C, and then if my ducks line up, then we'll do this.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that I'm one of his ducks.
Yep. Fraser the Duck. There we go. It's like a sequel to Howard the Duck, but not.
I used to have the biggest crush on Leah Thompson as a kid, and that movie did not sway me. It did not change my mind about my crush on
No, not at all. So it's like in an alternate sort of multiverse, if you ended up with Leah Thompson, she would make you wear a duck costume.
She would.
I think. And you'd be okay with that. It'd be fine.
Who's to say she doesn't make her husband wear a duck costume?
I think she does.
We don't know.
Change his name to Bill. Thank you.
Who wears the pants. But allegedly, she makes her husband wear the duck costume. Like, I don't know. It was another George Lucas mad film.
Yeah. But that was the thing, though. It's like, we lived in a time where it was Cat from Outer Space and Spaceman and King Arthur and Howard the Duck. And people just watched films and thought, it's fun, it's daft, right? What am I going to do for the rest of the weekend? People weren't as obsessive as they are when it comes to movies now.
Back now and reviewing these old films.
Yeah.
Tearing them apart. It's like, no, it's done. It's happened.
Yeah.
Can't hurt you anymore.
No. They were made in a time when the film was made. Don't look at them through 21st century eyes. It doesn't work.
No.
That's when people go mad at things like, you're Gone with the Winds and all that sort of stuff. It's like, at the time, that's when it was made, and that's when it came out, and that's when people liked it. Don't, because I always wonder what people are going to think about films coming out nowadays in 20 years. That always fascinates me. What are we doing now, or things that we're saying now that in 20 years time they'll be like, I can't believe they got away with that then? We don't know, because we don't know what these things are, but that'll be interesting.
Because the majority of Disney films that back in the 40s and 50s, they come up with a disclaimer, and it's like, there's things in this that don't pass our standards now.
Yep.
But we're showing it to you anyway. And I think that's the better way of doing it rather than just putting a film in a bin.
Yeah, of course.
Or cutting out those bits.
Changing history is a risky thing.
It's very Nazism.
It is. You know, we don't like that, so we'll get rid of it. It's never good.
It's a very right-wing Republican, because there are certain states in America who actually participate in book burning. So put that in your tea. But it's just, you're right. What are people going to think about? You know,
there'll be something. There will be something that is going on now that we are not aware is massively offensive because it isn't. Because it isn't at this moment in time. But in 20 years, they'll be like, "Oh Jesus, how they didn't end up in prison for that? I don't know."
Because the youngins are watching Friends now because it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And they're being very critical about how Friends dealt with certain things. Like, it was the 90s. They didn't know.
Well, that was the thing. It's like, and obviously we're on about Ross's wife, aren't we, on the comments towards her? A lot of it is. But when Friends was on, nobody was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe Ross said that. Oh, I can't believe they're laughing about this. Oh my God, what's nobody?" There was no, that's risky. It was just, that's what it was.
No, they chose instead to focus on, it was the first, I think it was like the first on-screen lesbian wedding.
Yeah.
And that's the bit they praised. So I think they got away with the other stuff.
Right.
But I don't care enough.
No, I don't care. It's like Mr. Doctor Who. It's like, you know what? I don't care.
On that.
I don't know why I don't know. I don't want to name him because it's like that's extra mean. But it's just like I genuinely don't get why people get so wound up over something that isn't there. And people always come out, well, it's just because they're passionate. No, that's not. There's a difference between being passionate about something and trying to destroy it because you don't like a certain plot element.
But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But you're wrong.
Yeah. My opinions can't be wrong. Yours can.
I'm afraid you are. I just can't believe, like, so, like, people got really upset because Chris Chibnall had the audacity to cast a woman in the role. And I was not the biggest fan of the Chris Chibnall era. I didn't think the writing was up to the standard of what had come before. But I loved Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor. She was great.
Yeah.
And they changed the lore of the show a little bit here and there, and that's absolutely fine. You can choose to accept that, or you can ignore it. Yeah. That's what's good about the show. It doesn't matter. But everyone's like, "Oh, it's woke madness. It's lefty agenda. It's this, that, never. It's it's a signal. Oh, what do they call it?
Signal virtue signaling or whatever. Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. Like, oh, but don't worry, Russell T Davies, the famously queer writer who's very progressive, who wrote years and years, It's a Sin. Queer as folk, he'll come back and he'll make it what it should be. Like, he is going to lean so much harder on what he wants to do. Yeah, and he has. And
but it's Russell Davies has come under the same stuff as James Gunn, where they go, Russell's coming back, James Gunn's going to do this, and everybody goes, yay! And then 3 weeks later, they're all like, fuck you, Russell, fuck you, James. You're like, what happened? Why are you mad at them? Because we are. But you were happy about them. Yeah, we're not now. When did that happen? I don't know.
We're going to cancel them. Why?
Yeah, because we don't like what they're doing. But you were happy. Yeah, we're not anymore.
There was a big push like a week before the first Doctor Who special came on. It was #boycott Doctor Who, and there was a petition going where they wanted to take it off the hands of the lefties and give it back to the right people. And I'm like, no.
No.
Send your letter of complaint to the BBC.
Yep.
On you go. It'll change nothing.
It won't. No.
The specials have been made.
Yep.
And so they're not happy now. The specials have been made. The Christmas special has been made. They've started filming the Christmas special for 2024, and they're already about 4 episodes into shooting the new Doctor's second season.
Nice. Yeah.
So this isn't changing for a while.
Throw it in the bin because Facebook and Twitter aren't happy. Yep.
Tax right off.
That's what you do. Write it off. Give it to Zaslav. He'll sort it out.
You just spin it.
Exactly.
Well, but I have to because I'm a fan. No, you don't.
It's like, well, you don't have to at all.
But then when they decide they're not watching it, they put up pictures of like a graveyard and a coffin, and it's like R.I.P. Doctor Who. It died in 2017 or whatever. And you're like, no one cares.
No.
No one cares that you're not watching it.
What I'm going to do next year, I'm going to just rewatch a lot of my old favourite films.
Yeah.
I'm just go nostalgia.
Yeah.
Not for any particular reason, other than the fact, you know what, I've not seen them for a while. I don't feel the need to watch every single new film that comes out because I'm never going to be able to do it. I'm just going to watch some stuff that makes me happy because that's what movies and TV does. I love Tron.
Tron for a while, and I don't know if I'm going to bother watching the new one when it comes out.
I am, because hopefully I like it.
It's a bad title.
I'm like, yeah, it's not a good title. No, but I love Tron Legacy.
I think that's amazing. Call it?
It's like Tron, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so, yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. It'll either be good or it won't.
Is it Jared Leto the cast in it though?
Yeah, he's not exactly the most sane person around, is he? Come on, Jared, sort yourself out.
No.
Yeah.
I choose not to watch.
No.
I loved Legacy.
Yeah, same.
Like, I thought the music was exceptional. The effects were it was amazing. Jeff Goldblum was great in the two parts that he played.
Or Jeff Bridges.
Who did I say?
Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum will find a way to be in Tron Legacy.
Jeff Bridges was great in it. Great ending where she comes into the real world. Yeah. But I bet you that won't even come up.
No.
Because he won't be cast. He won't come back. And she's not very popular right now. So
no.
They'll brush it under the carpet.
But I'll watch it.
It'll probably land on Disney Plus very soon.
It will. Yep.
But Tron was great. Even the first one was so groundbreaking.
Yeah, I saw that at cinema. 11-year-old kid going in, going, oh, lights and the special effects were like, oh my god, these are almost amazing. It looks so realistic. Now they don't, but at the time it's like, how the hell have they done this?
Would you not love a go on a light cycle?
Oh, love it. Yeah, I want a VR game where it's the discs.
Yeah.
Or light cycles or something like that. Why does it not been a VR Tron game?
There probably will be when the new one comes out because
I'll buy it.
Because it's all cross media now.
Yeah.
So I think you absolutely have to do it.
I hope they do.
Look forward to 2024 around the corner. My 40th year.
Scary. I don't even look at my own age anymore. I'm like, how old are you? I'm like, I have no idea.
I know, 25.
It's like something like that. I don't know.
Idea. I don't feel different. I feel a lot less anxious than I did when I was like in my 20s.
I think the one thing that bothers me is I don't have my spark anymore. It's like, and I've sort of noticed a lot of that reading this biography. I'm like, I want to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to travel the world, and a lot of the stuff I have done. Nowadays, I'm like, don't know what I'm going to do. So I need to get that. I've got some plans.
You will find that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry.
No, that's part of the reason I'm going to do all these nostalgia podcasts and stuff. It's like, right, let's just reignite sparks.
Just figure out what you really want to do and do it.
Yep.
And it'll be fine even if you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Because not everything you think I'll do happens. Life doesn't work like that. So I'm okay with that.
I'm glad we spoke about Sam Raimi.
Mm-hmm. Well, we did. We started off a little bit about him, and then we did touch upon him and stuff.
You messaged me last week, like, who's your favourite filmmaker? And I was like, oh, God, who? And I went through it all in my head. I was like, I think Sam Raimi, because he wears suits like the 50s directors used to do, the 40s and 50s. And the only other filmmaker I know does that is Paul Feig.
Yep. Chris Nolan? Doesn't Chris Nolan not do it? Or
yeah, maybe he does.
He might.
Just didn't come to head. But I love that Sam Raimi can go do Darkman and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I stand by it. It's not perfect, but Spider-Man 3 is an enjoyable film.
It is, other than that dancing sequence. You're like, that's kind of weird, but it's not enough to ruin the film for me.
They've played into that so well now.
Yeah.
And like across the media. And I really hope if we're not going to get the Spider-Man 4 we were supposed to get with him and Tobey, I hope he does do Secret Wars and they bring back Tobey, because I would love Sam Raimi to direct Tobey one more time.
Yeah.
And bring the band back. Because when I went to see No Way Home 2 years ago now, probably, and I saw it in the cinema and it was a packed house, and the little portal opens and out came Andrew Garfield, I screamed. and we all did. And then they did it again, and then out popped Tobey Maguire, and we all knew they were coming back. There was all those leaks, and like, no, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake. It's like, it wasn't fake, and they came through, and it was so good seeing the three of them fight side by side. I just love that movie. I got the extent. I downloaded the more like the fun edition or whatever it's called, or the more fun edition, and I just love it. It's so good, and yeah, that felt peak. That to me was like, right, end that iteration of Spider-Man there.
Yeah,
that's good.
You're not going to beat that, I wouldn't have thought.
But they won't.
No.
What they need to do is now make a more grounded version of it.
Mm.
So just Peter Parker fighting crime in New York, like, not because he's had fantastic. His first film was like Civil War.
Yeah.
Fighting alongside Black Panther and Captain America and Vision and Iron Man and everything. He already came into it quite high. So,
but no, you're not going to beat No Way Home.
The only way is down, right? So
pretty much.
But yes, thank you for talking to me for nearly 2 hours.
You're welcome. I enjoy it. I'll do a little bit of editing and cut out your documentary part, which people listening to this will have no clue what we're babbling on about there.
But that part out now.
Yes, I might not just leave it in as an Easter egg.
I tried to show Stuart a little bit of my documentary.
You failed. Didn't work. Failed miserably.
But I'll fix it after you hit stop recording.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, you take care, Fraser.
Thank you too. Thank you.
And we'll have another catch up.
Oh God, yes.
At some point in December.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you for watching us talk nonsense, everybody.
Yes. Thank you. Take care.